2016. I think before I start this video, it's important to note that when I was setting up, I somehow managed to tip over my light box so that it almost broke while being connected by my headphone to my tripod and phone, which is on the tripod, and everything came falling onto me, crushing me against my bookcase. And I feel like that's a perfect analogy for this year. So for the world, 2016 has been catastrophic, and for me, 2016 has been catastrophic. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could have definitely been worse, and it's also been somewhat the best year of my life in some weird way, which is weird. This is definitely going to be a story time kind of thing, although I'm very limited in what I can tell you guys via story time because the people that the stories involve will probably come out and be angry at me, so I can't tell you a lot of my really great stories. So I'm going to talk about the world's 2016 probably towards the end of this video because I've got a lot of rage I need to get out. In the wise words of Kylie Jenner, this was definitely the year of realising things. Oh my god. I'm not even going to touch on the world yet because that's just been one big mess that I just don't want to think about yet. I watched yesterday on Twitter this video that someone had made which had made 2016 into a horror story trailer, and honestly I didn't sleep until 2 o'clock in the morning because I was just thinking about how accurate it was, and I was like, how has this scared me so much? I've lived this. My fringe is doing weird things. That's probably not a good thing that's come out of 2016 is me getting a friggin' fringe. My light's weird. This video is like, it's like 2016 is like, you cannot make a video disrespecting me. That's not how this is gonna work. So let's do this chronologically. We'll start off in January. I'll probably end up going back to things that I've forgotten. I tried to keep a diary most of my life, although I kept it for like the latter half of 2015, realised it was just too depressing, and then stopped. So I've got a brief diary of when I started at uni because that's when things started to actually get good in life. So I'm a bit fuzzy on what happened back then, but let's just say I was in literally the worst place I've ever been in my entire life. So last summer into the whole Christmas season and beginning of January, I was not good. My diary from last year is terrifying. I was really bad, and there were a number of reasons for that. They weren't just me being naturally a sad person. There was a lot of things going on in my life. So I ended up losing sort of my best friend at the time, which sucked. Like Harry Potter, and I don't want to be involved in this adult stuff that's all too much for me. It's just too much. And that happened. We're amicable and it's on good terms and everything, but it still was, you know, a sucky thing to happen. And the whole thing that came along with it, like, so for my 17th birthday, we're sort of skipping ahead to March now because I don't really feel like much happened between January and March apart from just sadness. I had a really good New Year. I spent New Year with some friends and we played board games and stuff, but I haven't really spoken to those friends in a long time, and I feel like if I tried now I don't really know what response I'd get. It's definitely been a year of changeable friendships for me. I'm one of those people, I feel like I've never been able to hold down friendships for very long, and then I realised that I was probably the problem there. If this was something that was a continual thing for me, I was probably the problem. So I've tried to change a lot of things and make more effort with people, but as someone that feels very annoying all the time, I find messaging people daunting, even if you're my best friend. So I'm like, they're definitely gonna find me annoying and want to leave, and then they don't find me annoying, or they do, but they find it annoying that I don't message and then they leave. Wow, mind blown. If I told you all of the details of the stories that have happened since then, you'd probably just be like, what the heck, your life could be a TV show. But I'm not gonna, because I still respect all of the people that have come into my life enough not to do this. So, you know, it will come back and haunt me one day. My birthday, literally 7 people came to my 18th birthday party, which was fine. I ended up having a really good time because at the time the people that came were my best friends. So we had a really good time, went to see In the Heights, and we had a good party. And honestly, I was really happy for the first time in ages because I had more of my friends with me and I just felt very content. This did not last, unfortunately, very long. Fast forward to the end of April / beginning of May, and I find out some things, which is what leads to the general decline of a friendship and just me never wanting to go into college despite being super happy at college. And obviously all my A-levels are coming up and it's all just a bit of a mess, and I'm trying to do the good thing and make everything less dramatic by being like, I'm fine, and telling everyone I'm totally 100% fine with everything that was happening. Obviously mistake, because then they didn't know that I wasn't okay. Well, Laura, why are you like this? So I'm living life, trying to make everything alright, in my head I'm like, I'm doing the right thing by being, I'm totally cool with everything that's happening in life. So in my head I'm like, you know, you're doing good, Laura, you're just being a good person, it's fine. And then I realise that this is ultimately just making me incredibly unhappy again. So I was like, great, this is just swell. Anyway, it comes to the end of the year and I'm doing my A-levels and I'm like, you know, I did it. I didn't revise as much as I should have done, but at the end of the day I still got marks that I'm proud of, and I had a good time, ultimately left college feeling happy. I feel like I've blocked out this whole part of my life, to be honest. I don't remember the details of what happened next. I had a really good beginning of summer. I spent so much time with Becca and Ella. And, this was a period of time where I was FaceTiming and Ubering them every night, and they were keeping me as a sane person because I was really struggling, and I would Uber them and everything would be okay for a couple of hours. Obviously I spent loads of time with them. We all went to Harwood Studios together, and I went to Italy, which was nice with my family, and then I got my results, which was really awesome. And then I went travelling with Becca and Ella, which was so cool, and there were so many weird, crazy stories from that trip. Like, it was just mental, and, you know, just a roller coaster of emotions for me personally, because I struggled being away from home, a different country where my mum couldn't like reliably come and get me, like if I panicked. But like, I still had like an amazing time, it was an amazing trip, and you know, at the time I was with the best people and we were just having a really good time. Obviously there are ups and downs in the trip, there's always ups and downs, and I'm only saying this because I don't want people to be like, oh, why can't I just have a nice group like that and we can just go and do things and everything's perfect all the time, because it's not perfect all the time, because we are humans and we are naturally drawn to conflict and dramas and stuff like that. So stuff does happen obviously, but it's, you know, normal friendship stuff that happens and normal life stuff that happens. So far nothing sounded too catastrophic, to be honest, but that's because I can't really tell you the catastrophic details. Trust me, the beginning of the year was terrible despite me making it sound rather lovely. So I get back from travelling and I am going to university, and it's not something I actually thought about. I auditioned at a bunch of places. That's why sort of the end of 2015 was very stressful, because not only was I severely depressed, and I mean, it was bad, and I was going to all my auditions for unis, which was really not the best timing. So it was just a horrific experience. To be honest, end of 2015 was probably worse. Actually, no, that's a complete lie, it definitely wasn't. So I got into a uni to do musical theatre, and I got back from travelling and I had about a week to pack and everything. I sort of knew my accommodation and everything, no idea who I was living with or anything like that, and I just didn't think about it until the day I moved there and was like, oh wait, I'm starting university. This is kind of a big step in one's life. My parents dropped me off and I unpacked my bags and everything, and I met the girls in my flat and one of the guys, and I was like, okay, this is nice, this is good. And then from then on, life just got really awesome for me personally. For the world, it just deteriorated. I think the second half of this year has just gone to shit completely. I mean, there were bad parts of you know, the first part, don't get me wrong, there were really bad parts, but it just seems like in this last push, it's like, right, let's fit in all of this bad shit we can fit in before the end of 2016. So for me, life got pretty sweet for a little while. I still had undertones of other stuff going on with other friends, and I was feeling a bit anxious and uneasy about it because I didn't know where I stood with a lot of people, but despite that, I was making amazing friends at uni and spending every day with them and living with just really cool people and having good experiences, really enjoying my course. I was feeling pretty sweet about life. Apart from, I literally forgot. I was thinking, what was wrong with the first part of uni? And then I remembered, I had a Crohn's flare-up. So start of the year, I told you I'd forget these things. I always forget about my health, like not mental health, because I remember that all the time, physical health, pushed into a corner. So at the start of the year I was diagnosed with Crohn's. I probably knew I had it for a long time because it's somewhat hereditary and there's people in my family with it, and I had similar symptoms and whatnot. So I started going on steroids, and that's where I got really chubby the first part of the year, and I tried to lose weight, and so my mental health with my eating was not good because I knew I was putting on weight and there's nothing I could do about it. And then I was fine, didn't have any flare-ups, was totally pain-free the entire summer, which was good. First 4 weeks at uni, mentally, brilliant place, so happy. Physically, so much pain I cannot even describe it. I mean, sitting in my bathroom with my face on the toilet, vomiting and crying and screaming until I blacked out, and then woke up again and then did the same because the pain was so intense. I can't even describe. I filmed a video. Do you know what I did? I filmed a video when I was in a lot of pain in my bed and I was like crying, and it was the most I've deleted it, don't worry, I'm not leaving traces of that anywhere for anyone to see. I don't know why I filmed it, but I was watching it, I was like, Jesus, you need to stop being so dramatic. But at the time it is honestly just that bad, it hurts so much. And anyway, I got known for the first month at uni, I was known as someone that was always leaving class to go and throw up, because I would just get these surges of pain and it was relentless and it was horrible. Like on Freshers Week, when everyone's supposed to be out going partying and drinking and stuff, I went out like twice, and on the second time, I'd known my flatmates literally a week, and we were in this club on the pier called Sheiks. I started to get such bad pain, and they were both a little bit drunk, and I was like, I really need to go home. And they were like, right, we'll get you home. They literally helped me walk all the way back to our place. It was about a 15-minute walk along the beach and back to our house, and I was like, crying, I couldn't stand up, I kept sort of like fading in and out of consciousness, and they were being absolute troopers, got me up to my room, sat with me. They did take selfies, which I appreciated in the long run because they're hilarious selfies of me laying on my bed like, I'm dying but I got to pose, I'm on it. And they were great, and they stayed with me until they knew I was sort of like comfortable, and then they kept my door double dipped, which means that they can walk in and out without a key, and just to check that, like, if they wanted to check on me. And I lay there thinking, why do these people care so much? Like, I've known you a week. And that for me was a very big wake-up call, because I was like, this is what it's like to have people, like, obviously my friends in the past have been great and they do care about me a lot, I hope, fingers crossed. It was nice that these people that I didn't have to give them anything in return or anything like that. It was just very nice. It was something I'd never realised before, because none of my other friendships have been formed that way. My closest friends are my internet friends, so it's a very different form of relationship that I think that you to begin with, whereas I was like shoved in with these people and sort of forced into friendship that then turned into a really genuine friendship. And they were just being so lovely to me, and everyone was like really, really nice. Like, I remember we were sitting in the kitchen, I wanted to play chess because we were all playing chess, and I was trying not to scream, the pain was so bad, and they were all asking me if I was okay and stuff, and it was just really nice, despite obviously the pain bit wasn't nice at all, don't get me wrong, that was horrible. The people, that was nice. I didn't really miss any of my classes, which I was really proud of in essence, because if I was at college, if I got a twinge of pain, I'd be like, I'm out. Because like any excuse for me to skip college, my attendance on my last year was terrible. I do not know how I managed to get good A-level results, because I did not show up to class. I mean, it was horrific. So eventually I ended up in hospital. My mum drives down, takes me to hospital. Oh, right, so this is a funny story. I'm literally laying in a pool of my own vomit, like trying to clear it up while being doubled over in pain one night. And like one of the girls texted me, she's like, are you okay? And I was like, fine, I'm totally fine, don't worry, I'm gonna go to bed. Because I didn't want to worry anyone. I also didn't want anyone coming into my room and seeing me covered in sick, because bear in mind, I had only known these people probably about 2.5 weeks at this point, and I was still trying to make out that I wasn't that crazy, and I didn't want them to think I was, you know, dying, because I just don't like the people that, I don't know, I just didn't want them to think that I was like seriously, seriously ill, although in the moment I definitely was, and I needed to go to hospital. And anyway, I called my mum as I'm laying on the floor and vomiting and just in so much pain, and she was like, right, I'm calling your accommodation security and they're gonna come and get you, I'm driving down and then we'll call an ambulance and whatnot. So I was like, cool. Security knock on my door and I'm like, I can't really get up. So I sort of crawl from my bathroom. If you've seen in my room tour, my bathroom sort of like is there, my door is there. And so I'm like crawling out of the bathroom and like standing to open the door. I've got sick all down me, I'm crying. There's like makeup everywhere, my hair's a mess, there's sick in my hair. And there's 2 massive security guards there and I'm like, hi. Like, oh, well, we heard you had a problem. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, your mum's coming, right? And I was like, yeah. As I'm like trying not to throw up on them. And they were like, okay, cool. Well, when your mum gets here, you can probably just call yourself an ambulance because we can't really do anything else. We're gonna go now. And I was like, what? You're supposed to be helping me. They just left. And I cried and lay on my floor again until my mum arrived and took me to hospital. So yeah, that was a fun story of how my security at my place are not good at dealing with a crisis. Generally, security are really awesome, and they come and like tell us we're good at singing. When we're singing at 2 o'clock in the morning, they should be coming and telling us to shut up. That was an interesting first sort of impression that I gave there, but then one day my Crohn's pain just stopped, which was excellent. It just stopped, it all just cut out, and I went on living normally, and I haven't had any pain since. Touch wood. Although I did get a few twinges in the early hours of this morning, so who knows, it's probably on its way back. There could be a flare at any time. I'm just trying to ignore it, pretend it's not happening. It's how I solve all of my problems. It definitely doesn't solve all your problems, it makes them 10 times worse. Do not do this, even though I do. And then obviously all the Fantastic Beasts stuff happened, and it's really good. And then I had some more problems with friends outside of uni and stuff, but like, I don't know, not something I want to discuss here. Other than that, it's been fine. And then I came home. Now, home stuff is where it gets a bit like meh, purely because I have a very close relative who is very sick, and my mum is dedicating an awful lot of time. My mum works 7 days a week, and she also has like 4 or 5 jobs, so she has no time, and she's spending all her free time with that relative to make them comfortable and check they're okay and stuff, because their memory's not great, and yeah, we just don't know. So yeah, so it's been difficult. Like, this Christmas has been difficult in some respects. Like, as soon as I got back, I felt almost guilty for being at uni because I haven't been able to help. Like, the house was a bit of a mess, and it's never usually like that, so I was doing all my cleaning and stuff and like trying to be helpful. So while I had some problems with friends and stuff, it came to light that people weren't happy with my general behaviour, and I was like, what is this supposed to mean? I've sort of gone off on a tangent here, but it's relevant, I promise. They just felt there was some problems with me as a person. Now, I've always tried to be a good person, essentially. Like, I don't really think I'd never knowingly do something that's wrong, and so my intentions are always good, which kind of goes back to what I said in my morals video. If you want to go and look at making tea and talking about morals video, it's somewhere. I might link it in the description if I remember. I was like, well, I mean, I don't necessarily agree, but I guess there are probably some things I should try and do better. So that's what I did. And so I have a lot of rage inside me. I don't come across as a very angry person, but there's definitely anger. I just keep it very, very suppressed, which isn't then not good, because it will then burst out over like an inconvenient time over nothing. Definitely directed towards my family, because I never get angry at friends ever. Like, my problems with how I behave in 2016 for me has been just apologizing for everything, because even if something's definitely not my fault, stuff at the beginning of the year and everything, if something is not my fault, I will sit there and be like, I am so deeply sorry, let me fix it for you, because I'm just one of those people. I'm a solver. I don't like to hold grudges. I forgive people like that, and I never even make people feel like they need to be forgiven, because if someone does me wrong, I'm like, just my fault, don't worry, it's all good. Even if it's definitely not my fault and I definitely should be angry, I just don't, because I avoid conflict at all times. So it's something I want to change in 2017, so people don't walk all over me, but just kind of people have a habit of doing, because I let them, so it's technically my fault as well. There I go again. I mean, that was true, but you see what I mean. I'll twist it to be my problem. Because of these things, people were saying to me, I say people, it wasn't that many people. I didn't have like an army of people being like, Gloria, you're a dick. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make some changes. I'm gonna be a more calm person, more rational and chill. Oh, I really hate that word. I started just being calm and everything, and since I've come home, like, there hasn't been any arguments, where usually we would have had loads of arguments by now, because everyone argues with their parents, but we do argue a lot, and there hasn't been any, and I've been home like 3-4 weeks, something like that. Maybe not that long, 3 weeks, but that's still really good. And I've just been very calm and trying to help out as much as I can, and generally making a more conscious effort, not just to think about doing nice things, but to do nice things, and to be responsible for my actions, and to be rational about how I react to things and everything. So it's kind of helped, and I feel like that's the sort of change you make at the beginning of a new year, but I kind of made it in December, so I'm like skipping a step. I feel a lot better about myself as a person since that. So like, while, you know, sometimes being called out for things that you do wrong isn't nice at the time and can make you really self-conscious and upset, which it did for me, it can also lead you to make better choices in the long run, I guess. So for me, in summary, the beginning of this year was a catastrophe, bit of a mess, but there were good parts. And then the middle of this year was a catastrophe, but there were also really, really good parts. Good parts outweighed the catastrophes. And then the end of the year, there were catastrophes, but there was a lot of good parts, which were really, really good. It's been a really, I feel like I've never changed so much in 1 year than I have in this year. So a lot of people say going to uni makes you more mature and everything, and a lot of the time it's a lot like being cringy or just trying to make themselves seem bigger or more mature or more like I'm an adult now, I'm at university, I'm in higher education, living by myself, don't need no help from my parents, cooking all my dinners, sorting out my post, doing the cleaning and stuff. Realistically, you might not change that much. I changed a lot. Not trying to make myself sound better, because it may not even, I mean, hopefully it's for better, but I matured a lot in my attitude and the way I think about things. I deleted some social medias that I thought were unhealthy for me, and I stopped posting so much shit about my life online because it's so unnecessary these days. I feel like a weight has come off my shoulders knowing that I'm not giving that much of myself to the internet, and I'm keeping stuff for me, and I'm writing it in a diary instead that I can then like burn if I want to. And if I look back and think, well, that was a stupid thing to say, because we all do that, we all say stupid things and we all make mistakes. I made a shit ton this year. Shit ton of mistakes. Point is, I realised I made the mistakes and I can fix them for next year and hopefully make less of them because I've become a different person, more mature way of thinking about things, and just generally stop feeling the need for this sort of pettiness that comes with dramas, and just wanting life to not be petty and to just be simple, and to have good friends that you can rely on and just talk to about things maturely. And that's what I feel like I have, and I'm happy about that. And you know, make an effort with my family because they are my family and I love them a lot, so it's important to make an effort in that respect, and I am now, more so than I ever was. And just generally valuing things that I was probably taking for granted before. I've had amazing, don't get me wrong, my friends from sort of the past have been so amazing, I can't thank them enough for everything they've done for me. But then you find that you drift away from people and you come back. So one of my best friends in secondary school I hadn't really spoken to for a very long time, hit each other up the other day and were speaking, and we'd both been missing each other for so long, and neither of us had wanted to make the first move. And so now I'm going on New Year's Eve with her, and it feels so good to be back with someone that I've known for like 7-8 years now, and we had sort of 2-3 years of disconnect, and now to be back. And you know, that sort of thing happens in life, and it's just understanding that losing people isn't necessarily a bad thing, because either they'll come back and make your life better again, or you'll lose them but you'll still have the really good memories with them, and they will still have been a good person for you at the time. And sort of realising that that's okay. You don't have to cling on to people that have made you happy just because they made you happy at that time, because it might not be appropriate for what you need it now in your life. I've now got 28 minutes of footage, so this is going to be absolute catastrophe to cut down and take me probably about a million years, but I'm excited about it. So that was my year for me. I've probably missed stuff out that I'd want to put in later, but you know, if it didn't spring to mind immediately, it can't have been that important, am I right? The world, I mean, there's been a lot of good stuff happen this year, and I wanted to make a best of 2016 video and talk about all the good things that have happened, which I might still do, but this has kind of got bits of that in as well, so I'm probably not gonna, and a lot of people have been doing them, so you can probably find someone else's that's more happy. Ultimately, there has just been so much death in 2016 that's just been, I mean, a lot of well-known death, so people that probably are household names and people that mean a lot to a lot of people have died. I'm not going to make a list because there are too many. I think the other day in my family we counted about 45 people that we could name off the top of our heads that died, something like that. Mental. And a lot of people that I know close to me have lost family members and stuff, which has just been, it's just been a really rough year. You know, we had leaving the EU, we have the Trump situation, which I'm not even going to start on because it's just a mess. And I think something that's important to go into 2017 with, I mean, this whole construct of having a new year is kind of false, because time doesn't exist. I mean, it does, but there are things, well, I'm not going to go into this now. This whole construct of a new start and everything is nice, but not technically true, I guess, but you know, what these things. In 2016 to 2017, I feel like we should be going into with the attitude of a lot of the people that we've lost this year. So a lot of the people that we lost as like a nation and world and universe were people that stood up for things they believed in, that were people that were activists, people that would speak out. And I think we need to follow in that trend, because we've lost these people that were such champions for certain minority groups and for certain rights and things. I'm not going to make a list and go into all of the details, but we need to collectively become those voices that we've lost and use ours to do better things than what we did in 2016, and stop hating with all of our energy and instead try and do positive things. And I know everyone says that and it's easier said than done, and me saying it's not going to make a difference, but it's just an important thing to think about. I've got 30 minutes of footage here, so I am definitely needing to stop now, and I need to go for a singing lesson. So I hope you've all had good 2016s. Mine's obviously been a bit of a roller coaster, and I can only hope that 2017 will be good for us all and for the world, because if we have another year like this, I don't know how many of us are gonna make it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for everyone's support this year. My channel went from having like 4,000 subscribers in January to now having 11,500 now, which in the grand scheme of YouTube isn't very much, but to me that's like amazing. And to everyone that came to my meetup and everything, just thank you so much for allowing me to do this and not be just shouting into a void of nothingness. Because I mean, I would probably still make videos, but they wouldn't be as satisfying knowing that I don't get responses. I'm looking forward to doing new videos in the new year, and I'm excited to film a video to tell you guys what my plans are roughly for the new year, and a few new series and things like that. So thank you so much, and I hope you're all good, and I hope I soon think of an outro that's not me talking about an outro or doing an awkward. And now I'm just gonna leave, although my mic will probably tip my stand over, so I'm just leaving, and I'm leaving. Oh, that was successful.